Today I'm going to talk to you about bare root plants versus seeds. But before we get into that, we need to know the difference between perennials and annuals. So with an annual plant like a sunflower, this will grow for one season and then it will die. Normally, bare root plants are perennial plants. Now, perennial plants are great because they will go through a whole season, and then towards the end of the season they will die back, and then you will chop them off, and then the next year they will regrow again. Now, when you buy bare root plants, they'll normally come in a packet like this, and then all you need to do is just pop this plant into a pot, water it, and eventually it will regrow. Now, if you're going from seed, it's going to take a little bit more effort. Now, with your seeds, you're probably going to start them off in a seed tray, then pot them up into something a little bit bigger, and then up again until you're ready to put them in their final space. Now, if you're a balcony gardener or an apartment gardener, you may not necessarily have all of that room to do all of that growing. I'm going to take you inside so you can see my growing space, but you may not have the same space to do that with, so let's go inside. Now, I got these shelves off Amazon, but not everyone's got the luxury to do something like this. Now, when it comes to perennials, they do not flower on their first year. If you grow from seed, then you're going to have to be prepared to wait for the following year for those flowers to actually flower. If you go with the bare roots, they will flower in that first year. Now, the best thing about the bare root plant is once you pop it in your container on your balcony, you don't have to move it to another pot. It will stay in that same pot, and also once it dies back down at the end of the season and you cut it back, it will regrow in that same pot. You don't have to keep moving it or putting it into different pots like you would if you were starting from seed. So here I've got a lupin that I've grown from seed. Now, as you can see, it's pretty tiny. This is probably around about 3 or 4 months old. In fact, I think it's a little bit longer than that. I think it's actually 5 months old, but it's been left out in my greenhouse over winter, and what it's been doing is storing up energy to make a taproot. But I left it over winter to trick it to think that it has had an extra year, so I'm hoping that this, by the end of this season, this year, will flower, but I don't know. So what I did do is I planted some bare root lupins. I actually did a video on that, so I'll leave a link to that in the description box down below. But what I did want to show you is the difference between this, which I've grown for 5 months, and my lupin bare roots, which I planted about 2 months ago. Now, as you can see, these guys are doing a hell of a lot better than my plants growing from seed. But on this taproot, it's got enough energy to push out all of this luscious foliage, and this time round these leaves are acting like massive solar panels, and they're now collecting enough energy so that they can send up the giant 2-meter flower spikes. Meanwhile, this guy's job is to send out the leaves to then grow the taproot to have enough energy so that next year it can send up the flower spikes. When it comes down to balcony gardening, it's down to you as a personal preference. Do you want to start with seed, or do you want to go with bare root? If you're looking for plants that are going to flower this year, I would definitely use the bare root option. But as you've seen, I don't just rely on my bare root plants, I will do both. So I'm going to have some lupins that are just going to have some beautiful leaves like this that I've grown from seed this year, but I know that I'm also going to get the blooms as well. So I like to have a mixture of both. Plus, as you've already seen, I've got the space inside to start growing from seed. If that worries you or concerns you, you can just go from bare root. Take a look through my bare root playlist and I've got a whole heap of videos on there about growing different plants, different flowers from bare roots. I hope that was interesting for you. If you like this video, please give it a like and don't forget to subscribe to my channel. Hopefully I'll see you again soon. Bye.